And welcome in to the 82nd Annual West Tennessee Strawberry Festival, the Junior Floats Parade. We're live on Main Street. I'm John Blankenship here with you for this parade, which has been rain starting out the day. The rain has moved out of our area. We are drying out, and Seth Wilkerson joins me. Seth, good morning.
I'll tell you what, John, I'm glad the rain has moved out. And at first, it was just rain, no wind, and then as the rain stopped, the wind started trying to pick up as the back end of that system moved through. And but now it's going to be a good parade as far as, the weather goes. It's going to be comfortable, very slight breeze. If you was out here when it was raining, you're probably cold right now because of being wet and now this little breeze. But I'll tell you what, the crowd's starting to show up a little more than I really expected because of all the rain. Not sure exactly how long the parade's going to be and what we're going to actually be able to see. There's a little confusion also about, is their bands going to be here today?
Sure.
They played already once, but will they come on across town and play on Main Street? We'll see what happens. But looking forward to it.
That's the question. Probably a smaller and a shorter parade today. They are, as we mentioned and talked about this morning, that they will be allowing those folks that were in today's parade. Even if you walk, you can still come in the end of tomorrow's parade and go back through in a little drier situation. But it's going to be a nice day. The weather, this is my kind of weather. Exclude the rain part, but the cooler temperatures, I like this for a parade. It's nice, and you can just sit back and enjoy yourself. The food vendors are opening up, and
that's right.
Smelling good. You've had a part of a corn dog.
Yeah.
Elise had a corn dog.
She did.
Did you get any of the corn dog?
I did not get any of the corn dog, but I'll tell you what, that lemonade shake-up, that strawberry lemonade shake-up is amazing, and they're giving you, some half-price refills tomorrow, so that's why I knew we'd be back down here tomorrow, so I'll go ahead and do that. But, you're talking about the food vendors opening up. They wasn't open when we got here this morning.
Sure.
That's a very unusual sight. Even in previous years when it rained, they would open up.
That's true, and I think everybody kind of waited till that rain. We knew early this morning. Now, in previous years, they've sometimes not always made that decision so early to postpone the parade start. They made that really early this morning.
Did.
So everybody kind of had a chance to plan, say, okay, the rain's going to be out. They are going to have this parade. So folks really didn't get soaking wet waiting. So we kind of knew.
I wonder what all that involves for the carnival. Their stuff sits out. They've got to get ready to open up here after the parade. What all does that involve? Do they have to wipe everything down? That's the carnival's open, I believe they said from 2 o'clock on today.
Yeah, that's correct.
No, they actually open at 5. They reopen at 5.
Sure.
So they'll close down and about 2, and they're actually open during the parade.
Yeah, they're open during the parade, and then they close for 2 or 3 hours to get things going. And then I think the prices and stuff kind of swap around a little bit and your discounts. And then they open back up again in the evening, and I believe Friday is the same way as well, Seth.
That's right. So they'll be open during the parade. So, you've still got plenty of things to do down here.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed the variety of the vendors this year. That's something that's been a little different. We actually went down here. I'm going to mention a couple of these different places, which, that ice cream place, they come 2 or 3 times a year. They're here. We was here the day they opened. There was a place the other day, Taste of Texas, brand new vendor that came down here. Some great brisket the other day. You can go right across the way and get gyros. They've got Coyote Blues down here. I mean, all these different places
many new ones. And that's something the festival committees have talked about. They wanted to get a bigger variety. We're used to the traditional hamburgers, hot dogs, corn dogs. Everybody likes those. But just to give a little different variety and a different flair, one of the Cajun trucks down the road here towards Main and 22nd, always very popular. The chicken on a stick, everybody has to have one of those. And
that's right.
This is the time you can splurge, spend those few extra dollars for the food, for festival food. You don't get this every day of the week.
Right.
One of my favorites, let me say this. I know you may get some of these other fancy things. I'm still the traditionalist.
He's going to Pope's.
I go to Pope's. You knew what I was going to say. I go to Mr. Pope's, and I'm going to have a hamburger with all the onions and pickles, all one of them sloppy type burgers. Love them. Good stuff. And Casey's had one of their, what do they call, though? Casey, what's that thing you had called? A fiddlestick,
Yes.
And they have a fiddlestick festival, by the way, up in Greenfield where the Popes are from, and that's a fancy ice cream bar.
Right.
It's got nuts and different chocolates on it. So that's a very popular thing. That's one of their exclusive things they offer. You can get those downtown. There's an older gentleman that runs the booth and has run it for years, so you know who you're going to get it from. And
that's right. One of the things that we're not quite started yet. I know they said we was going to start at 11 o'clock. It's 11:13 here. One of our sponsors has been very busy this morning straightening out flags. Humboldt Utilities has already been They've already been up and down this road. They've straightened out the flags. Not sure exactly what all we're waiting on right now. They may be allowing a little extra time for these floats to get back in place, because who knows? We may have quite a few today.
Yeah, that's true. Some probably was thinking earlier today with the rain, well, we'll just wait till tomorrow, and some may have reconsidered to get back in line. Yeah. Again, we want to thank our sponsors, Seth. All these folks have made this possible for us to be here and cover all the different events for the Strawberry Festival. Humboldt Utilities, as you mentioned, again, a special thanks to them. They provided the electric for us here at our broadcast location on Main Street, the Humboldt Public Library. We're there every Thursday morning with news from the library and the schools. Again, thanks for Brittany and all her staff for teaming up with us here as a partner. Also, Power Station Auto and Cleaning Tire Shop in Gadsden, Gene Langley Ford, Hickman Realty Group here in Humboldt, as well as Robin Ellis Paint and Body Shop, Dover Automotive, People's Furniture Company, FSB Insurance in downtown, RMD Heating and Cooling, and Papa Chuck's Small Engine Repair. All these folks teamed up with us.
You know, that tent over there that we saw earlier this morning, they are trying to recover. The water was pocketing folks on the front of this tent, and finally it just gave. They're over there trying, and what happened was I was afraid was going to happen. The guy grabbed the corner of the tent, and there's water gushed all over those chairs over there. So, that's some of the things. You mentioned it this morning before we came on the air. There was chairs set out here the other day. When we got here this morning, everybody had come and got those chairs because they knew the storm was coming.
Yeah, that's true. And we didn't have a whole lot of wind last night, overnight, but you don't want to see chairs all over downtown. And that stuff's happened in the past, so I think people come and got those. But the crowd is starting to come out. There's several people here. It's a very light crowd today, which is expected. But this parade is going to go on, which was scheduled to start at 11. Looks like they have delayed that a little longer.
Yeah. And we're hearing from some people on Facebook today. I know Pastor Mark Hodge is watching this morning. They're watching from home.
Appreciate them watching.
We're also hearing from some folks that they saw some family members sitting across the way on our camera this morning.
That's great.
Hearing the sirens, so it sounds like we're maybe getting ready to get started.
And thanks for our viewers on our Facebook page at Good News 99.9 and 1190. We've got live video there. I encourage you to share that with us, and that'll propagate that on the web. And folks that may have not been able to make it out today due to the weather or out of the area, they can sure watch that broadcast on the Facebook page. Now, keep in mind, we may, depending on the length of the parade, we'll probably stop that video about halfway through and refresh it.
Okay.
That's one of those tech things you have to do every so often to make that happen. Especially tomorrow, we're going to try to do the whole parade, which could be a 3-hour parade.
Oh, man, it's going to be a big one. Now, as they have started this a little bit later, I have not heard. Earlier this morning, they said everything else, the times were going to stay the same. So you still have the 12 o'clock lunch and registration at the Strawberry Classic Golf Tournament going on today. The shotgun start is at 1 o'clock. All that is at the Humboldt Golf and Country Club. Still at 4 o'clock this evening is the Junior Miss Territorial Review at the East Elementary School Gymnasium. That is a $5 admission to get in for that. And then at 6 o'clock tonight, the Miss Teen Territorial Review is at 6 as well. I know you may want to mention a little bit about this Hall of Fame. Because there's some pretty big names that's mentioned this year.
Yeah, that's right. There's 4 folks, and it will be each one of them is going to be a group, a husband and a wife. We'll mention them first. Peter and Rita Howard, they own the Crown Winery for several years here. Mr. Peter died a few years ago. Miss Rita is a Humboldt native.
Right.
She was a former Miss Tennessee, the Miss Dixie pageant. She was involved in all those back in the late 50s and the early 60s. So they're going to put her and her husband, the late Mr. Peter Howard, in the Hall of Fame this evening. Mr. Orrin Clay, he's a military veteran there. I'm not sure if he's still active service or not.
I'm not sure.
But he's going to be honored tonight, and he will be there along with Bishop G.E. Patterson, who passed away a few years ago. You'll remember him from his Bountiful Blessings ministry on TV in years from Memphis. Pastored the largest Church of God in Christ, led that organization for 30 years. He was actually born in Humboldt.
See, I didn't know that till this year.
Yeah. His father pastored here for a few years, and I believe they eventually moved to Chicago.
Okay.
But he was born in Humboldt, Tennessee, so he's going to be added to the Humboldt Hall of Fame. His wife is going to be here, too.
Wow,
that's
cool.
going to be neat.
That's really cool. You know, Bishop G.E. Patterson was a pretty good preacher. I don't know if you ever heard any of his sermons. I watched a couple of them on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
He shot straightforward. I mean, you didn't ever guess about where he stood on any issue. He was just, here it is, take it or leave it, you know.
And a talented singer as well. I love his music. One of the songs that sticks out to me, I just love to listen. I probably drive my wife, Casey, crazy. Lord, I'm Coming Home. Just to hear him go. He's so smooth and everything. Just a great leader in the church for many, many years. So Bishop G.E. Patterson also going to be added to the Humboldt Hall of Fame. That reception is going to be at 5 o'clock today. And then they're going to have the presentations and the ceremony at 6. So come on out there, free admission to come into that. They have a small reception, some little hors d'oeuvre type settings. and then they will have a special program to honor them.
Right. And then you was talking about music, entertainment tonight on Main Street.
Yeah, Party Planet.
Party Planet will be here tonight.
Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be here at the reviewing stand or downtown. I don't know that.
I believe it's going to be right here next to us.
Sure.
That's what they've done the last few years. The Thursday and Friday night has been right here. The bandstand review played last night till about 8:30. We talked to Danny Wade about that. He said they had a good crowd down here. I saw some pictures from you.
Yeah.
Was the atmosphere really good down here last night?
Yeah, it was. A big crowd downtown, of course, for that, and also the carnival going on right next door to it.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff happened. They had the shortcake in the park, which was good. I know our friends from Tyson were down there really serving. And
how did that go? That was a new event.
I didn't get to sample any of that, but I know it was very well turned out. A lot of folks, I guess, they went through all they had and gave it all out.
Sure.
So that's always a good sign.
Sure. They don't ever have any left over.
No, you don't have extra food. I know the first night opening ceremonies and the opening celebration this year, while they handed out those certificates and the food, that $350 went fast.
Yeah, that's going to be something they're going to have to revisit. It's been a great festival, and the rain today, I don't think that's going to damper anything. I really don't. Looking across here, crowd's starting to pick back up, and they're going to be sitting, I imagine, on down closer to Main Street on that end where the businesses are. There's more people today because you have some awnings out there as well.
Sure. Folks want to be careful just in case the rain does come back through. We're getting the 82nd Annual Junior Floats Parade of the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival underway. Always start out, Seth, with law enforcement. They will begin each parade Thursday and Friday, and they're going to do that. Again, our thoughts and prayers with the Tennessee Highway Patrol and the trooper that recently lost his life. I'm sure it's a tough time for them to be, of course, in the parade, and we recognize him.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if they won't have some kind of something that will mention him today
or
tomorrow, either one. Also, you were talking about the bands. We were hoping Humboldt band's going to be playing. I see them coming up the road here.
I do. The rain
has
moved
a little bit
out.
of music today.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Again, thanks for watching on our Facebook page, listening on Good News 99.9 AM 1190 and online, goodnewsradionetwork.com. We'll be telling you about our sponsors throughout today's coverage of the parade. It's overcast here in Humboldt, a nice little breeze, a little cool. So if you're coming out, you might want to slip on that jacket this morning.
That's right.
Have you noticed the troopers and on the motorcycles?
They're doing the circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing a little bit of something different here. And one thing they're doing different this year right in front of us, and you may be seeing it on the camera some, is they have stationed Mr. Kenny Perry right here beside us to tell people they cannot walk in front of the stage today. So they're going to keep putting them around the back of the stage, so you may see him step out every once in a while and tell folks to come on in.
We'll try to give you a camera angle there so you can see the vehicles as they come by, not so much as they come up the street.
Sure.
Of course, leading off this parade will be the Humboldt Police Department. Chief Raynard Buchanan will be riding in the parade with other officers. They do a fine job at taking care of all the law enforcement needed here in the city during parade week.
That's going to be the chief on the far side over there.
I see him. There's Lieutenant Curtis Baxter.
Looks like chief and assistant was both of that. He rolled his window up about the time Danny went to take his picture.
The Tennessee Highway Patrol and their state trooper vehicle coming down through, waving to the crowd today. Good to see them in the parade.
You was talking to Sheriff Paul Thomas the other day. He said he wasn't walking today. So
I believe he's going to be in the vehicle. I think he was avoiding that water.
That's right. I can't blame him.
There's the Gibson County Sheriff's Department, one of their vehicles coming through. This may be the sheriff here, I believe.
I'm thinking that's him behind him in the truck. Yeah, I believe that's going to be Sheriff Paul Thomas.
If you're watching us, you'll see that come up here. Yeah, there's Sheriff Paul Thomas. Good to see him today.
Now, is that his deputy assistant there?
That is. That's Deputy Lewis.
Okay.
Waving to the crowd.
It's always a special time for the kids, during this festival as well, with the Banner Girls, the escorts, and all of that. That's what you're having right here is going to be the Banner Girls West Tennessee Strawberry Festival girls walking up.
Always a tradition, something they'll remember for a long time, the day they got to open the Junior Floats Parade.
That's right, and those photos and all will be saved for memories to come.
Speaking of old photos, come down and see me. I'm going to be open through this week, and, of course, regular hours at the Humboldt Strawberry Festival Historical Museum, 2 to 4, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday by appointment. We've got a Facebook page you can check out there and keep updated with hours and come learn more about the history of the festival and also of the community.
Now, folks, I'm going to tell you, I can't say enough about this band director for the last couple of years. How do you pronounce her last name? You remember?
Band director Heather.
Heather, yes.
I don't want to mess Heather's name, and I know I will.
She has done a great job about growing this band.
Her and Delaney, the assistant director, they have both done a great job, and they've got new uniforms. They've got a new spirit to them. And now, these, of course, the junior and senior high school should be combined together.
Okay.
But look how much larger they were than last year.
It was small last year. I mean, I'm excited to see what they do on the field this year in football.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
going to be neat. They've been working on their program. They've already started on that. I saw them out practicing the other day, and I saw them out there. They were practicing in Viking Park, out there at the edge of Viking Park on the stand there, and it was really neat. And they're working on some special stuff this year. You don't want to miss the home games at football.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're going to have one extra home game this year than we did last year.
Sure.
We lost one last year, and that was because we had an extra one the year before. So everything should be back to us having 6 home games.
Excellent.
Looking forward to Coach Ballard and his staff putting another product out on the field and hoping to see some progress there as these young men. They played their heart out last year. Just they didn't have much time with their coach. Their coach was a late hire. They had hired a coach, and then he resigned, and Coach Ballard had to step in. This year he's had an off-season program.
Sure.
They've been lifting weights.
Saw them out there the other day before the opening celebration on the field.
That's right.
Some big boys out there this year, too.
That's what lifting weights will do for you. You can afford to eat those corn dogs down here at the festival if you're lifting weights,
Absolutely. Well, the band is going to march and perform. We're going to try to see if we can get a little audio for you. That's the Humboldt Junior Senior High School Marching Band there. You'll see them approach here on our video of today. Their red and gold and black uniforms. The band definitely increased in size. Good to see them in the parade today, opening up the Junior Floats Parade. Humboldt High School Marching Band.
There's going to be some more bands, looks like. So maybe they came on over after they played at the high school, or they decided to wait.
Now, the berry we have today.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to get an explanation. They probably didn't get the new berry out in the rain. They have just changed Mr. Berry, and I would assume he is not out in the rain today.
I'm sure you will see him tomorrow. The mayor is walking today. He's not going to be riding in his truck. So, he had at first said he might just drive today. But, hey, he's
the
out
rain's
here
moved
walking
away
and greeting folks.
Yeah, he's out to see us, shaking hands, meeting folks today.
Coming up in this golf cart, John, you're going to be seeing it on the screen. This is Mr. Gus Hicks.
Yeah.
He is the honoree this year.
He is. Mr. Gus Hicks involved with the parade for a long time. I believe he's moved out of Humboldt now.
Okay.
His late wife was actually a cousin of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so good to see Mr. Gus here and been a long-time family friend.
Mr. Caraway there, yeah.
I see.
Former car dealer.
And here comes some folks of the McGill family. They're, of course, honoring and recognizing the late Mr. Chuck McGill.
That's right.
And his two daughters marching in the parade today. Of course, his wife and daughters and the bandstand review last night with Paula Bridges McGill.
Yes.
Were downtown last night.
There's
Mayor Sykes. Good to see the mayor. There's his secretary, Mark Whedon.
Uh-oh. He's going to come over here and give Elise a hug.
And we just saw pass there the festival president, Miss Chelsea Caraway.
Yes.
With her husband, Gary Jr. Betty Langley, who is the general chairman. There's her husband, Gene. Some grandchildren there walking in the parade with them.
I imagine they are ready for tomorrow to come and Saturday to get here. This has been a long week for them, I imagine.
Definitely. Our friends from the Humboldt Chamber of Commerce passing by us now.
There you go. That's going to be Amanda Love. Looks like Beth Culpepper and Sydney. I can't remember her last
Sydney
name.
Cruz.
Yeah, there you go.
She's the newest addition to the chamber staff.
So it
some of the queens here,
walking through today.
Yeah, they're all walking.
The parade
they probably kept the floats dry for tomorrow. So a little different setting as they walk through the hostess princess and, of course, the territorial queens.
But it's a big day for them, too, you know, and you'd hate for them not to be able to at least go through the parade.
Yeah.
So they're out walking today. There you go.
Remember, many of these folks that will be competing today in the territorial pageants.
Yes.
Traditionally, you always had to ride through the parade to be in the pageant. Well, they relaxed that rule this year because of the rain. So if you weren't able to ride or come through because of rain, they were going to allow you to still compete. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Humboldt Utilities, the Humboldt Public Library, Power Station Auto and Cleaning, and Tire Shop, that's in Gadsden, Gene Langley Ford, Hickman Realty Group, as well as Robin Ellis Paint and Body Shop, Dover Automotive, People's Furniture Company, FSB Insurance, Air MD Heating and Cooling, and Papa Chuck's Small Engine Repair.
Appreciate all those watching on our Facebook page today. Getting quite a few on there. Over 40 already on there today. So, yeah, it's picking up. Again, the rain is probably contributing to some of that. It's easier to watch from home today and not have to get the lawn chairs out. Now, we would invite you to come tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a big day.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a big parade planning to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we'll be here, I'm going to say, till at least 1 o'clock.
I'm sure it's going to be a long parade.
However, it's not an election year other than Jackson City Mayor.
Which there's a runoff going on now.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Big shock with Jimmy Eldridge not getting in
I think many thought he would be the front runner of that, but Scott Conger there, the front runner, as well as Dr. Jerry Woods. They'll be in a runoff in June.
I'll tell you, I heard both of those guys in interviews, and I was impressed with both of them. I really
Every candidate were all good people.
They were. And
everybody
they were all
running for the office.
Yeah.
We've got another band coming up here.
I don't see a sign, so I'm not sure who they are. We'll figure this out. There you go. Didn't have a banner for that group, so it's kind of hard to know who they were.
I'm not sure who that band was.
The Tigers. I saw this, their mascot.
A good little band coming through today. Appreciate them braving the weather to get out and walk and march and perform.
Yeah, it's going to be some more of these young ladies walking up here that would have normally been on a float. They're holding their sign to let you know who they are.
Sure.
So,
and if you're watching our video, you'll see them as they approach here. They make their way up, some youngsters. These are probably some of the younger territorial and hostess royalty walking today. They've got their names with them they're carrying.
Queen Meredith Moore, looks like First Mate Katie Bateman. Can't read that other girl's sign. She's swinging that around, but you see that on the Facebook Live for sure. We'll do our best tomorrow. They'll be riding through. We'll try to mention all their names tomorrow. Parents following behind.
Yeah. It's a little something we haven't seen, but not having them on the floats, that's different.
It is.
Not seeing the floats pulled today. There's a couple of floats we've seen coming up the way. We'll tell you about those.
Looks like we got the All-American cheer team coming up. This is the 2018-2019 cheerleaders: Cassidy Aiken, Addie Haynes, Caitlin Lofton, Rainey Wiggins, Corbin Winberry.
Those young ladies cheering to the crowd. 82nd Annual West Tennessee Strawberry Festival, downtown Humboldt. You're listening to the Good News Radio Network. Live video on Facebook and also live audio on the radio.
There's Miss Winter Wonderland, Nadia Presson. She actually had her float pulled by two gentlemen today, and they went ahead and used the float. So
got a little break here in the parade. Again, and we thank all our sponsors making our coverage possible today, Seth. These folks have teamed up with us. We wouldn't be able to be here and do this without their support of the radio station.
That's right.
Many of these longtime sponsors and some new ones as well, and we're so glad to have all these fine folks. Humboldt Utilities have been very courteous and helpful to us this week for different locations we've had to broadcast from, especially here on Main Street. They get us set up with electricity and access to that. We thank Mr. Mike Longmire, Mr. Alex Smith, and all the staff there for the fine work that they do.
X16, this is Miss Sweetheart, Brittany Mullins, walking through today. Decided not to use their float, and she's walking through. We also have another float that is approaching, being pulled by three young men. It's going to be kind of a cart looking deal
you'll
here.
see a lot of these in these type parades. Of course, they're all pulled by hand today. Everybody walking, no cars allowed in the parade. And the weather is done just fine for them to be out and do this. So there's a young lady with her strawberry quilt. That's Miss Gibson County, 6 to 9-year-old category.
That'll be Miss Gibson County 6 to 9-year-old Queen Cassie Wood.
Pretty young lady.
All right, so we got a little bit of a break in the action. I want to remind you, too, about the carnival this afternoon. We'll be reopening. They're actually open right now until about 2 or 3 this afternoon. And it is the $12 armband that's going on right now. It is valid until they close around 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Then tonight, when they reopen at 5, is what they call Buddy Night.
Yeah.
You buy a ticket, and you can have a friend ride with you for free. So
that's a good deal. Good savings there.
Yeah, so make sure
so are we going to ride anything?
Yeah, well, I think I'm supposed to. Now, I don't need to say this too loud because I don't think the little girl's going to get to go. But I'm actually supposed to go and chaperone our young people tonight are going to see the Jackson Generals play. Jackson Generals won last night, by the way, 10-3.
Congratulations to them. Yeah.
And they are now 17-16 on the season. They're playing the Birmingham Barons. And they'll be playing again tonight. It's dollar night at the ballpark.
So another savings there, too.
That's it, man.
Tough.
I'm going to go where I can save some money.
Well, I see you're just not going to get on the rides with me. That's
right.
What it is. I like to watch people ride.
Glad to see these bands did come on over. This at least makes this parade a little worthwhile.
This is from Crockett County, the marching pioneers here. They're going to come up, and we'll listen to them as they march and perform for us today here at the 82nd Annual West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. See them make their way up the parade route. Oh, wow. Good band there from Crockett County.
Something else we might need to mention, I did get a text from a lady that works at Simmons Bank. They will not be opening until this parade is done.
Sure.
There have been people coming and pulling up, I'm sure, and trying to come in for security reasons.
Most of your banks and many businesses will be closed during parade time.
So,
again, that's worth mentioning. Our law enforcement officers that are here working this parade from many, many different offices. Of course, the Humboldt Police Department, the host law enforcement agency, the Gibson County Sheriff's Department. You'll have them from many different counties and cities around the area. And special thanks to them. Another carriage coming up here. That's Mini Miss Tipton County, Tinley Murphy, riding, waving to the crowd.
All right, we got a few floats coming up. There we go. This is going to be, see if I can pull this up. They're all out of order here, so we'll do our best to keep you updated. This is Miss Adamsville, Junior Adamsville, little tiny Sarah Barber is the main one on that float. Don't have all the names.
They're getting called up together here. You'll see them passing by us. Young ladies posing there for the camera.
Yeah. Have you done much study into the Gibson County 4-H or the 4-H program itself?
I know it's been around a long time, very popular, especially in the Milan community. You had the camp over there for years, and I'm not sure if I guess that camp is still active over there.
You know, when I went to Hillside Christian Academy, when that was still open, we were involved in the 4-H. It was a really neat program. Gave kids a chance to be creative and learn also, you know, some agricultural things. Pretty neat thing. Here comes the Gibson County 4-H.
See them marching in front of us here, waving to the crowd. Of course, in their green T-shirts.
Yeah. That's great.
A little break here. We'll see our friends from the Church of Sugar Creek coming up. Again, Seth, many activities going on today. You've got the Junior Miss Territorial Review, which is going to be at 4, and then the Miss Teen Territorial, also at East Elementary. That's going to be at 6, and both of those events are $5 each if you would like to attend those. And something we should note for those that are watching and listening, if those that are competing today did not ride through the parade, they still get to be in the review and the contest today. They relaxed that rule due to the weather.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, I'm still happy to see quite a few of these coming through. They're still wanting to be a part of the parade. I think it's still a fun thing to ride through or at least walk through and see the people. And coming up here is going to be a local church in town, Sugar Creek.
Yeah.
And, this is the church's learning center. They're going to walk these kids through the parade today instead of using a float. And
yeah, they get in the ride and hand out stuff and pass out and wave to the crowd. Pastor Greg McFadden there and Kevin Hamilton, the music director. Good folks.
Thoughts and prayers with also Pastor Greg. Had a little health situation happen earlier in the week and ended up having to be in the emergency room. I think he's back home and doing well again, but just wanted to mention that. Our thoughts and prayers are with him, and hopefully he gets well soon. Expecting him probably back in the pulpit on Sunday, but had quite an event the earlier part of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely in our thoughts and prayers. Seth, we want to thank our friends at the Humboldt Public Library. Miss Brittany Keller, library director, has teamed up with us to be a partner to bring this broadcast to you today. They're so very helpful to us. They allow us to come down every Thursday and do a program from there with On the Record at 9.
That's right.
With the city schools and Miss Sarah. Always great folks to work with at the Humboldt Public Library. We thank them for their sponsorship here of the parade. Also, a Power Station Auto Cleaning and Tire Shop there in Gadsden, and Tony was down there visiting, and I believe he got his car cleaned up nice. He came and showed it to me. He said, "Look at this." I said, "Man, that's impressive." So they've teamed up as a partner with us here as well. Gene Langley Ford, a longtime sponsor at Grace Broadcasting and the Good News Radio Network. We're so glad to have them here as part of that team, as well as Hickman Realty Group in Humboldt, Mr. Winfred Allen and all his staff here on Main Street. You're looking to buy, sell, purchase a home, looking for property, sell property, they're the folks to talk to. Also, Robin Ellis Paint and Body Shop. Mr. Robin, another longtime sponsor. Man, we were talking the other day, me and Tony, he's been with us 10-plus years now as a sponsor. So we're so excited to have them always as a sponsor of many of our different programs and events we cover, and, of course, the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. Dover Automotive, he's a man I know I've called on many times.
Yes, sir.
When something breaks down and it doesn't run like it's supposed to, he's the man I call. Bring it on down. We'll get it taken care of. And they always do. Dover Automotive, one of our sponsors today as well. People's Furniture Company, one of the longest still open businesses in Humboldt since the 1940s. Mr. Harry Davidson and his wife have been leading that business for, man, I guess near 50 years now. He
has new and used furniture. I mean, new pre-owned furniture as well.
You're looking for a mattress, they've got those. They've got 3 floors, well, 2.5 floors.
That's right.
It's a neat old building, and great folks and great furniture there as well, and they can offer financing and get that for you too. FSB Insurance, Mr. John Hale downtown. We appreciate their sponsorship. Air MD Heating and Cooling, they're out on East End Drive next to the Humboldt Chronicle. We thank them for their sponsorship, as well as Papa Chuck's Small Engine Repair. You got a mower, a weed eater, something like that, Papa Chuck will get you taken care of, and he'll sit down and talk with you as well while you're there. Good guy. Love Papa Chuck.
That's right. You're watching the 82nd Annual West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. This is Tennessee's largest and longest-running festival. Been going since 1934.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's the Trenton Rosenwald Middle School Band. Let's take a listen to them in their black and gold and white uniforms.
John, I have never noticed the person directing ever to walk on their tiptoes backwards.
That's not easy.
My feet would be killing me just at this point.
Very talented band. Always a great band from Trinity.
Oh, yeah. It's Rosenwald.
We thank all those that are watching on our Facebook page today.
Oh, yeah.
We encourage you to share that, and other folks can see it as well.
They're expecting over 75,000 people to come through town this week. 75,000 friends and neighbors joining in this town. 9 blocks with over 20 events. It's an unforgettable 7 days of food, entertainment, celebration, and this is what people look forward to every year.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. And the people that actually just come back to town for this event.
Yeah, it's a homecoming for many folks. It's a tradition for many, many years here. And we've got, look at this here. This is pretty, that's a neat kind of carriage, or a 4-wheel carriage. Young ladies, they are staying warm and cozy under their strawberry quilt. Young ladies on their tricycles and bikes, too. That's Miss Springtime. The
first one there was Avery Riley. I'm looking here. The second one was Jamie Jarrett. And the last one on K39, I'm looking for that one here. That was LaShonda Williams, Miss Springtime.
They're moving along here pretty fast today.
They sure are. That's Little Miss Southside just past you there at Pam Stanfield. Here is a band.
I did not see the
identification.
identification.
So fast, I didn't see who that was.
They really got close together.
Yeah, they
There were about 4 that went through there all at the same time.
All right. I'm going to see if we can read her sash. They're not holding any signage, so we're going to have a hard time knowing who this is.
And many of these young ladies are usually riding on carriages or floats, but, of course, due to the weather, many of them have got off and walked today.
Yeah, this is Miss Spring Blossom Teen, whoever that is. She has a couple of young ladies walking with her in the festival.
Some of the supporters following behind there. All the food vendors are open today, Seth. You can smell the food starting to cook.
That's right.
Been cooking for a while now.
Now, here's a little different cart. A lot of them have been pulled. This cart will be pushed. This is going to be some guys behind it pushing this cart.
Well, it's probably got to be easier.
I would think it would be.
Mm-hmm. These young ladies waving to the crowd today. Their time to pass in front of the reviewing stand here in front of the Humboldt Higher Education Center.
That is going to be Miss Lauderdale County Tomato Festival. You ever been to that one?
I have.
All right. I haven't. Elizabeth Goodwin is on there as the queen there.
Friends down in Ripley in Lauderdale County. Now they slow down a bit, Seth.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's got a horse. It's not a real horse. This is a cutout of a horse on the front of it.
And that's not a horse pulling it. We'll
and
clarify
they had already
that.
planned to keep her dry. You see that? They had already planned to keep her dry.
Yeah, she's sealed up with plastic. You'll see her pass by here in just a moment. There are several folks who have come out for today's parade. The rain is broken, still cloudy, kind of cool breeze.
Yeah, this is going to be Little Miss West Tennessee. Look at that. Ava Grace Gordon.
She's happy to wave to the crowd today.
A beautiful bouquet there on both sides with red, white, and blue flowers. And kind of a patriotic theme there. That's a neat float. That's probably one of the better ones I've seen today so far. Really,
I like that. That's nice.
I like that.
Many activities continue throughout the week. Friday, of course, the Grand Floats Parade here on Main Street at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow we'll have live coverage of that. The Queen's Luncheon will follow at Twin Oaks. Of course, the Governor's Luncheon follows at 12:30. The barbecue cook-off begins at Bailey Park at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Johnny Mack going to perform at 8. That'll continue through Saturday as well. And then Strawberry Market on Main open Friday and Saturday 12 to 5 at the Opera House Event Hall in downtown. And then at the Chalmers Davenport Arena, the Horse Show, which has been one of the events that's been around since the very beginning of the festival. That'll be at 6:30 Friday night.
That was Miss Daffodil Amber Woodall who just walked in front of you there. Now you got the Main Street Taxi coming through, and this is going to be Queens for Carson, and this is Jill Cone and Sophie Cone. Actually, that's Sophie Cone on there. It says Jill here. Maybe it's just a different name on our paper.
Sure.
But this is Queens for Carson. Look at that on the back of that one. You probably didn't see it on Facebook, but it said "Too Cute for You" was the license plate on the back.
Another queen in her court passing in front of. Some of these, again, Seth, are not identified because they're not on their float or on their carriage that they usually ride on.
Well, let's see. I think we might be. No, that one must have been.
There is their number.
There is a number on this one. If I can get my sheet to cooperate here, we'll pull that up. That was going to be Trenton Beauty's Heart the Tide. Christine Gibbs Carnes was up there. So that's her and her royalty coming through.
We'll wait to hear in a moment as we see another band approaching our way. Again, thanks to our sponsors, many folks that have teamed up with us. We want to mention again Humboldt Utilities. Again, thanks to the staff, Alex Smith, Mike Longmire, and the many others there that have been so courteous to us, not only to be a sponsor, but to help us with getting electricity at our broadcast location. Humboldt Public Library, Gene Langley Ford, Dover Automotive, People's Furniture Company, just a few of our sponsors from today's West Tennessee Strawberry Festival Junior Floats Parade.
The Facebook Live views just keep on growing, John. We're getting close to 60 here at one time.
It's exciting.
Watching.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. And you can expect that on days like this. Also, there are people that can't get off work.
Sure.
And maybe they're sitting at their lunch break right now. Hopefully they're not sitting at their desk.
Sitting at their desk watching.
Hope not.
We'll let them slide on that today.
A lot of these places are getting smart, though, and their computers are blocking Facebook and things like that. We experienced that at the Humboldt Public Library in the school. The school public library, rather. The school library.
They block your social media sites and your YouTubes. And not having it on this, they can't get access to something.
Got to understand that. Oh, my. Now, that doesn't necessarily keep kids off their phones, but,
at least it keeps them off the most important parts they're probably using it for.
Exactly.
There's another band coming up in their maroon and black uniforms. We'll tell you where they're from as they approach here. The marching, I believe is that Phoenix? What does that say there, Seth?
Yeah,
marching Phoenix
Tennessee.
band from Memphis.
Yeah.
Marching Phoenix band there from Memphis.
I think that's our first time here.
I don't remember them.
I don't remember that one.
Very good band. I always enjoyed the bands that come up from Memphis.
That's right. We got people watching all the way up in Freeport, Illinois. Look at that.
Yeah, look at there. Thanks for watching and viewing on our Facebook page. Share that with folks, and we appreciate that. Others can join us as well.
Also, Jennifer Wilson checked in, said watching from Memphis.
Excellent.
So, yeah, awesome.
We're glad to be able to bring that service to you again, thanks to our sponsors. We'll be telling you about those throughout today. Many activities continue. The Humboldt Hall of Fame reception and presentations are going to be this evening, 5 o'clock there at First United Methodist Church on 12th and Crenshaw. They're going to recognize Mr. Orrin Clay, Bishop G.E. Patterson, and Peter and Rita Howard.
Have you ever been to that before?
I have several times. Very good.
How long does that take? I mean, you got the reception at 5, and then they do the presentation.
The receptions you'll meet in the activities area in the basement. You'll go down to there. There'll usually be some small desserts. You'll meet and greet with the folks that are there. Then you'll go up to the sanctuary, and they'll have about a 30 to 40-minute presentation. They'll tell you about each one that's being honored and added to the Hall of Fame.
Well, coming up here, it's at the bottom of the other page. If I can get it to turn, Miss Preteen Tater Town, Megan Conchell.
That'll be from Gleason.
Tater Totting through Berryland. That's what their float said.
Here's little Miss Bradford.
Stephanie Pate. Well, it says Lindsay there.
Stephanie may be the sponsor. I think some of those are the sponsor names.
Isn't that something?
For them. Another young lady.
Half these names are not right on this paper, I can tell you now.
Again, thanks to our friends at the Chamber of Commerce, Miss Beth has put all that together.
And that would be
it's a job.
An undertaking. And they start way, way ahead of the parade.
Yeah, this has been going for months. Again, we've got a little delay here in our broadcast. as we wait for the next band and others to approach the reviewing stand. We thank you so much for listening to the Good News Radio Network today. We're going to take a short break here on the radio as well as our video and tell you about some of our sponsors, and we'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back into our parade coverage here on the Good News Radio Network. I'm John Blankenship, joined by Seth Wilkerson. Seth, a very good day here for the Junior Floats Parade of the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival.
That's right, John. And I'll tell you what, last year, do you remember we had to fight all those bugs and gnats and everything?
Oh,
We're not doing that this year because this rain. I believe the rain actually was a benefit to us. It may not have helped a lot of people, but it was nice for us because it kept the temperature good, but also we're not having a lot of bug problems right now.
It's washed most of those away.
Yeah.
Again, we're waiting for another band to come up the parade route here on Main Street in downtown Humboldt. You're listening to the Good News Radio Network on the radio at 99.9 FM, AM 1190. Streamed online, goodnewsradionetwork.com, and also live video on our Facebook page.
We've had people listening or watching all the way from Illinois all the way up in Houston, Texas. Had somebody say a while ago, John, that they are living in Houston. They are from Humboldt, and they miss this part every year. Said their kids were always in the parade. And so I'm glad we was able to bring this to those folks on Facebook today and be able to at least bring a little bit of Humboldt to Houston on this rainy Thursday.
Absolutely. We'll show you a little bit of the crowd if you're watching on Facebook today. It's kind of not so many out here because of the rainfall today. It's kind of small across it. Now, further down on the other sections, there's more people than there is in front of the reviewing
and staff. I would say even down closer to the coffee shop, the Plaza 3, some of those areas where they have some awnings, there's probably people that's congregated down there. So.
Watching for the next band to make their way here up the parade route.
It's going to be our friends just a little bit up to the north of us here in Medina. This is going to be the South Gibson Medina Hornet Band. Medina Hornet Marching Band here. Going to have a couple of bands back-to-back, it looks like.
They're a larger band making their way up the parade route. Again, thank you for watching and listening here on the Good News Radio Network. A cloudy day here in downtown Humboldt as the rain has passed by.
You know, I tell folks, if you want to get some lunch or even supper tonight, you've got all kinds of options down here. As John was talking about, you've got the standard Popes. It's always down here each and every year. You've got your CNA concessions, that Taste of Texas that I mentioned earlier, Country Cabin Sweets and Treats. If you want strawberry shortcake, they still have it.
Yeah.
You didn't get any Wednesday night, they've still got it, and it'll be so much. I couldn't even finish it all the other night. I tried, and I just couldn't finish it. Something different this year, too, is Dough-zerts, and they talked about that in our interview with them. It's supposed to be cookie dough that's edible. You know, you don't have to worry about getting sick because you ate the cookie dough.
And we still eat the other, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I do, too. Yeah. I do too. Then you got your D&M and M&M concessions. You've got Cajun food all down through here. Cowboy kettle corn. Do you eat kettle corn? I don't necessarily care for kettle corn myself, but
there are people that do
like it. That's right. Then you've got Boss and Ross Barbecue that's just up the road here at Bailey Park. So not all of it's on Main Street. they're getting ready for the South Gibson County Middle School Band. They have laid their flags down. They're going to put quite a show on here, John, looks like. Mm-hmm. And somebody asked us, I will answer this question. Somebody asked us, Miss Piercy, we will be broadcasting the parade again tomorrow, so yes. Waiting on them to get set, and not sure exactly what's taking a little bit of time here, but once they're ready, they will start playing. This is a bigger band. Got quite a few flag girls, and the band is still a little ways down. I think John's probably getting it on camera for you.
Yeah.
But it's man, they've took up almost a block, haven't they?
Very large band from Medina.
Well, here we go. Great. That was great. That's the Medina South Gibson County Marching Band right here on the Good News Radio Network. You're watching the 82nd Annual West Tennessee Strawberry Festival Thursday Junior Float Parade. And you're watching that on the Good News Radio Network. Also listening to it on 99.9 FM and 1190 AM. Appreciate you joining us today. Again, we appreciate our sponsors. Papa Chuck's Small Engine Repair, Air MD Heating and Cooling, FSB Insurance, People's Furniture Company, Dover Automotive, Robin Ellis Paint and Body Shop, Hickman Realty Group in Humboldt, G. Langley Ford, Power Station Auto Cleaning and Tire Shop, the Humboldt Public Library, and Humboldt Utilities. Looks like we will have a few here to walk between this band. It's not going to be back-to-back. I think that may have been what was the holdup. They put some
separating the bands.
Between. Yeah.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Again, activities continue on Saturday for the 82nd Annual West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. The 5 and 10K run, the 7 a.m. registration there at Bailey Park, and then the race will begin at 8 o'clock. Also, the car show will be held at Viking Park next to the junior-senior high school beginning at 8 o'clock on Saturday. If you'd still like to enter that, want to know more, you can contact Mr. Gene Privet at 414-8558. Also, Strawberry Market on Main continues 10 to 3. The barbecue cook-off 9 till 2 will wrap up at Bailey Park. Also, don't want to forget about the tractor show, which is at 9 a.m. there at Viking Park next to the school. And then the Little Miss Territorial and Territorial Queens reviews will happen on Saturday at 11 and then at 6 o'clock Saturday night. And then it's $5 admission to both of those each.
I said that may have been it, but I think it just takes them a while to get set up for South Gibson because they're having to wait on the South Gibson band to move. But they're performing a lot down through here. And they have been probably the best band that's come through so far.
Very large band. And many of these bands, I believe, have already performed or may have, some of them at the high school this morning when the rain was going on. Now, many of them have come out. And if you've noticed overall, Seth, the bands the junior high level bands are a lot larger this year, seems to be, than in the past.
That's right. Coming in front of us here, Miss Fall Fest, that is Libby Baird. Also coming up next is Carroll County, Little Miss Fairest of the Fair coming through there.
Many of the tricycles and bikes and pull carts today. Here's Miss Easter Springtime. She's waving to the crowd.
Following her on the yellow bicycle there is going to be Miss West Tennessee Springtime. That is Paige Smith. And following that one, 123, that's going to be McNary Central Princess. And then Miss Easter Springtime.
Yeah. We'll have another band, the Dyer Junior High School Band, going to perform as they make their way.
That's the Dyer Junior High. They played there. Looks like we've got the War Eagles. Now that is coming from, I'm trying to remember, I want to say.
That's West.
That's going to be West Carroll.
I believe that's West Carroll.
That's right. Their football players are pulling this card here.
Young ladies are waving to the crowd. Red dresses, and the queen, of course, is in white.
It's going to be Miss West Carroll Junior High. Sponsored by Stephanie Vincent.
They pass in front of the reviewing stand, and another young lady you'll begin to see on camera make her way up.
This is going to be Elizabeth Bond. She is the Hardin County Fair Pageant Tiny Tot Queen. Coming up next.
She waves to the crowd.
Then you have Miss West Carroll Primary School. She's just walking and waving today. I think they had a float probably they were going to put her on, but with the rain, again, that always changes a little bit of that.
Large crowd of folks here coming together, waving to the crowd.
That's the Stegall Pre-K and Montessori's coming through right here.
Good to see our folks from the Humboldt City Schools.
That's right. I imagine they're going to come back through tomorrow.
Sure. A couple of more floats are going to make their way up, some small floats and carts being pulled, and I think we'll see the final band here in just a moment.
Yeah. Coming up next, you're going to have Junior Miss Adamsville riding in that little cart there with the balloons and the black and white polka dot umbrella. Then Little Miss Huntington in court. Queen is Kylie Crossnow. First maid, Kalins Wood. Second maid, Carly Evans. Third maid, Haley Foster. That again is Little Miss Huntington in court. Then you have Little Miss Territorial Teapot, Ellen McManus. Sponsored by the Green Acres. This young girl being pulled by a young man here on a very decorated green and red, looks like some kind of a plush being put around that wagon there. Streamers all down the side. Then coming up next, Little Miss Lauderdale County. That's Avery Emerson. Got some ferns in the back of that, red strawberries, an older wooden style, smaller cart being pulled by a young man there. And you're going to have the Junior Pioneer Band, John, coming up next, and I don't see anything after that.
This looks like the final band as of right now. We see a few golf carts coming up behind. That may be telling us that's the end of today's parade. A small parade, about an hour.
I thought they usually put police at the end too, but apparently not today.
Looks like not today. This parade around about an hour long, a little bit less.
Well, it was more than what we anticipated for today with the rain and all. And once again, those watching on Facebook that have been asking, we are going to be broadcasting the main parade tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. We'll start at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Let you hear this band once they get a little closer. I don't think you're going to be able to hear them quite just yet. I'm gonna wait till they get a little closer to us, and then we'll let you hear some of that. This is Rutherford, Yorkville, Spring Hill, Tennessee. This is the Junior Pioneer Band. Here you go. As the Junior Pioneer Band right there wrapping up the band portions of this and kind of looking at, I think these golf carts, John, are symbolizing the end of today's parade, looks like.
I believe you're correct, and we've been about an hour, Seth, in today's broadcast.
One more time, we'll mention they are starting right now the luncheon registration at the Strawberry Classic Golf Tournament. The shotgun start is at 1 o'clock here in less than an hour out at the Humboldt Golf and Country Club. You got the Junior Miss Territorial Review at 4 o'clock this afternoon and the Miss Teen Territorial Review at 6. Both of these at the East Elementary School Gymnasium, and that'll be a $5 admission to both of those. 5 o'clock this afternoon is the Humboldt Hall of Fame at the First United Methodist Church. Reception begins in their activity area at 5 o'clock. Presentations will be at 6 p.m. That is, again, Orrin Clay, Bishop G.E. Patterson, and Peter and Rita Howard that will be inducted this time. And then entertainment tonight at 7 o'clock on Main Street by Party Planet. So that's all that's happening today. And then we'll be back tomorrow for the live parade coverage again, John. And it's going to be a little, I imagine the crowd's going to be bigger. The parade's going to be a lot longer. You got a lot of cars in tomorrow's parade. Not as many politicians, but more just royalties and that kind of thing that we'll be able to give a little more coverage tomorrow on.
It's been a nice day. The rain moved out. The roads dried up. And, again, we thank you so much for watching us here on our Facebook Live video, Seth. They get to actually see who we are today. We've got the camera back
I didn't know you had it turned around. Lord, have mercy.
So you got to watch the parade on our Facebook page. Thanks for all those that have viewed there, all those that have listened. We couldn't do this without you watching and listening. There'd be no need to do it if there's nobody watching us and listening to us. That's exactly
right.
So thank you so much for that. Again, we thank our sponsors, Humboldt Utilities, as well as the Humboldt Public Library, Power Station Auto Cleaning and Tire Shop. Again, we mentioned these, but we want to say thank you so much. Gene Langley Ford, Hickman Realty Group here in Humboldt, Robin Ellis Paint and Body Shop, also Dover Automotive, People's Furniture Company, FSB Insurance in downtown Humboldt, Air MD Heating and Cooling, and Papa Chuck's Small Engine Repair. They are our sponsors for this year's Strawberry Festival.
It's been a great time today, and looking forward to tomorrow as you'll have the high school bands coming through, and you'll have a lot more of the parades, floats, and the cars and that sort of thing. We're expecting it to be at least 2.5 hours tomorrow, probably close to 3. If some of these go back through, you had some people that walked through today. I feel like they'll use their float tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a big parade.
Money goes into those floats.
Oh, man, a lot of time and effort. A lot of people volunteer to make that happen. I've never got to build one, but I've seen some work on them.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of work, a lot of planning to make that happen. And there's some very talented people in this immediate area that know how to build floats. So we hope they keep passing that tradition along to other folks. And
that's right.
And we'll keep these things going for another 82 years.
That's right. Between now and tomorrow, make sure you come down and eat at these vendors downtown. Make it worth their while to come to Humboldt. We want them to come back because I'll tell you, I enjoy this time of year. I usually eat on Main Street one too many times, but, I'm down here at least 3 nights.
Oh, absolutely. Looking forward to some lunch here in just a moment. We're getting out here a little early today. Right. So, again, we thank you so much for listening, and we'll go back to that sponsor thing. I appreciate my wife, Casey, helping us here doing some switching. We thank you so much for listening and watching to today's coverage. We'll be back with you again this afternoon. I'm going to have some live updates on the air and on our Facebook page from the Humboldt Hall of Fame. So that'll be coming up this evening right here on the Good News Radio Network, 99.9 AM 1190. Thank you so much for listening.